From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's Voice Briefing. It's Tuesday, June 4th, 2024.
From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Dana Afana. At this year's Mackinac Policy Conference, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan and Detroit Police Chief James White urged leaders to address Michigan's mental health crisis, using examples from Detroit. Some include clips of incidents involving people holding weapons, with police officers using tactics by telling them they did a good job after dropping a weapon, or slowly telling them they're okay and removing the weapon. Chief White's background in mental health counseling led him to start up a mental health division to train officers to deal with such incidents on 911 calls. Doing so led Detroit Police to build a database of addresses which have been flagged for mental health issues to notify officers of any incident history. More than 1,000 residents with ongoing mental health concerns average 3 or more 911 calls to Detroit Police each week. The city also averages 1 barricaded gunman intervention per week. Chief White said that by addressing the mental health crisis, there will be far less reductions in everything from domestic violence to drug use and drinking.
For the Detroit Free Press Autos team, I'm Jamie LaRoe. General Motors sees potential for big revenue as software subscriptions, so it is promoting 2 former Apple executives to help develop in-vehicle software. GM hired Baris Cetinok and Dave Richardson last fall to work for Mike Abbott. But Abbott, who is GM's Executive Vice President of Software and Services for almost a year, resigned in March due to health concerns. So Cetinok will now be GM's Senior Vice President of Software and Services, Product Management, Program Management, and Design. He'll oversee GM's software design, program development, launch, and improvement. Richardson will be the new Senior Vice President of Software and Services Engineering. He will lead all the software engineering, including digital products and advanced driver assistance systems. Both will report to CEO Mary Barra. GM software is an increasingly important part of the business. Last month, Barra said GM sees potential for additional revenue from in-vehicle software. She said GM will give more guidance on the topic during GM's Investor Day later this year. But in 2021, GM told investors software subscriptions was an $80 billion industry, and as GM unveils its various software plans, it expects to make incremental revenue of $20 billion to $25 billion a year.
The Michigan Central train station will reopen with an all-star celebration of Detroit music, produced in part by Eminem and featuring artists such as Diana Ross, Jack White, and Big Sean. Show details were announced Monday morning by Ford Motor Company. Performers at the 90-minute concert include a host of top Detroit names from hip-hop, rock, gospel, and more, along with visiting performers like Jelly Roll and Fantasia. The concert at Michigan Central will stream live on Peacock Thursday night, starting at 8:30, and the broadcast will be repurposed for an NBC primetime special Sunday evening. Eminem and his longtime manager, Paul Rosenberg, are billed as executive producers of the event, but there's no official word yet on a possible performance by the Detroit rapper. The concert marks the return of the long-abandoned train station, which was restored by Ford as part of a $950 million rehabilitation project in the Corktown district.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department. Let's check in with the Tigers and another big honor for former Tigers manager Jim Leyland. Next month, Leyland will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. And a couple weeks after that, the Tigers will tip their cap to their former skipper by retiring his number 10. Leyland's ceremony will be on August 3rd before the home game against the Kansas City Royals, where his number 10 will be painted onto the wall out in beyond the right field seats at Comerica Park. Leyland managed the Tigers from 2006 to 2013. He won exactly 700 regular season games and led the Tigers to 3 American League Central Division championships and 2 trips to the World Series.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.